John, before we went to break, you were stressing the importance of our history, of our contribution to the war. And in certain regards, it seems that we have almost rewritten the history of what Canada's contribution was, or we seem to neglect certain components or aspects of it. You know, some generations don't even have a concept or knowledge of the First World War, the Great War. How or what can be done to help entrench our history, especially with the younger generations?
If I knew that, I'd be a rich man. I suppose I'd be writing best-selling books one after another. But one thing that I think is very important is to remember that the core of history is a story. And to be able to tell young people that this is an amazingly exciting story, that the general tale of the survival of freedom down through the centuries is one of improbable victories against long odds. I mean, this point is easier to make about the Second World War. If it had never happened and then you wrote your great magnum opus, your Tolkien-esque trilogy, and sent it to a publisher, they'd send it back and say, you got to tone this down. You can't, this Hitler guy is just too over the top. That was not going to go. Or the Battle of Britain, the margin of victory is too small. You've got to give the Allies some more planes and stuff, as opposed to, again, seeing this. And if you go to the World War II memorial, especially the one to the air war in Britain, and you realize that they have people from dozens of countries. I mean, of course, the British, yes, the Canadians, the Free French who'd managed to escape, the Poles who'd gotten out of the wreckage of their country by Hitler and Stalin. And the same thing is true of World War I, that this is an exceptional story of determination and ingenuity. And Canadians made important contributions to overcoming the trench stalemate, working out new ways of targeting the enemy artillery, better ways of destroying barbed wire, ways to push forward that didn't get bogged down when the defenders rallied. There's all kinds of ingenuity, and there are all kinds of stories of individual heroism. And
right.
So to get young people excited is to tell them that you are part of an amazing tale that is not over, that the great deeds have not all been done. The idea of faith and honor is not dead. The notion of truth is not dead, and that these people fought and died so that you would have something to believe in and stand up for. And I think that's the right way into it. There's a line from the Narnia Chronicles where he talks about the history taught in Narnia under the usurper Miraz, and he says that it was duller than the truest history you ever heard and less true than the wildest adventure story. And what we have is a story that's incredibly exciting and is also true.
And
again,
to tell
back to Magna Carta, I did a documentary on that too. So I'm there.
Okay, so then let's talk about the significance of the flag. Presently, there's a debate, a brew, I suppose, about whether the flag should be raised back up again and then lowered for in time for Remembrance Day commemorations, because it's been lowered since May 30th due to the discovery of these unmarked graves. What is the significance of the flag for Canada on Remembrance Day?
I think the flag, even though, of course, the flag that we now fly is one that is open to approach on certain grounds, including that it was a deliberate attempt to erase our British heritage. But it is our national flag, and the maple leaf was one that certainly would be recognized by those soldiers. And again, it stands for peace and justice. It stands for faith and honor. And these things include acknowledging our mistakes, recognizing the things that we did badly, including in this very, very difficult area of race and of First Nations and the very real failings of the West. But we don't fly that flag because we don't have failings. We fly that flag because one of our great strengths is that we admit to mistakes. We fix what we can, we acknowledge them, and we learn from them. And I think it's high time to raise the flag back to the top of the mast. We have made another gesture of recognition of this painful part of our history. And I think that there are a lot of people who are trying to make practical changes. You can't go back and alter the past, but you could certainly do something about drinking water in remote Aboriginal communities. But I think the idea of keeping it down forever says that it wasn't worth it, that those soldiers did die in vain, including Aboriginal soldiers who went and volunteered, and many performed heroically and then came home to mistreatment. This is a terrible thing.
Very terrible.
But as with Martin Luther King in the United States, he refused to believe that the Bank of Justice did not have sufficient funds. And I think that we fly the flag proudly because we say we will see what happened. We will talk about it. We will do what we can, and we will learn, and we will do better next time. The West doesn't claim to be perfect. It's acknowledging its mistakes that makes it great.
Okay, we only have a few seconds left. Where can people watch your film if they want to see it?
They can go to my website. That's johnrobson.ca and then over to documentaries. Worst marketing plan ever. It is for sale, but it's also available free. So
Thank
go to
you.
johnrobson.ca and over to the right side, and there they are.
John, thank you again for all your wisdom and insight here. It's been a real pleasure.